Hey guys, today we have another episode of the 48 Days to Power. Today we have law number 14, crush your enemies entirely. So today we are going to implement some life strategies, how to use this law in real life, and to make life go easier for you. I love you guys, let's get into it. So point number 1 is quit bad habits. I can speak this out of personal experience. I've been sober 5 years when it comes to addicted to nicotine and stuff like this. Your worst enemy is addictions. Smoking, drinking, negative self-talk, lust, and many of other things. So this one's pretty easy. Quit bad habits. If you have to start a plan to quit these, you can most definitely do it. How I quit smoking, I'll use it as an example, is I hopped on nicotine gum and I was vaping at the same time. Eventually, over time, I just got tired of vaping and I leaned onto the nicotine gum to rely for my nicotine habits. Over time, I went from my nicotine gum to regular Trident gum. And then I was chewing on regular Trident gum. And then over time, I became addicted to chewing gum. And then eventually, I leaned off it. You want to crush your enemy entirely because you're going to be ahead than 90% of people. 90% of people today, believe it or not, vent their problems through something. They vent through their problems through vices. And if you could quit your vices early in your 20s, there's channels for young adults, or in your early 30s, you'll be ahead than most people and you're going to be brilliant. Point number 2, when it comes to self-improvement and law number 15, crushing your enemies entirely. It's about setting boundaries. In relationships, you set boundaries early. In relationships, if you want something done for you, you use positive reinforcement to encourage them to do the habit that you want them to do. Make you food every morning, and motivate you when you come home from a hard day. Hey, tell me how good I did, all these little small actions repeated every day, and you positive reinforcing them that, hey, you did an awesome job, really makes the relationship flourish. And then in boundaries too, like, hey, listen, I didn't like how you did this. Those kinds of repetitions over and over make the relationship flourish, because now the partner knows to not do this thing, and now I can do this thing. It's hard to implement at first if you're an introvert like me who doesn't really like speaking up, but if you set these things early, you'll thank yourself later. Number 3, self-talk is everything. The enemy, believe it or not, the closest enemy is in your head. The negative self-talk, the addictions to stuff like I was mentioning for number 1. But then not only that, your surroundings too. When it comes to your self-talk, how are you talking to yourself? I suck. I want to off myself. I'm sad. I'm upset. Fix that small talk every day. Catch yourself saying these things and fix it. But you guys might say, how do I fix it? You stop yourself in the point. You take a deep breath and you say, I'm going to be patient today. I'm going to take it easy. I'm loved. Positive reinforcement is everything, because the way that your thoughts flow reflects in your life. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm positive, I'll make it, I'm going to get a lot of views on YouTube, I'm going to put in so much effort to do this, you'll get that out of life. Especially when it comes to having faith, especially if being a Christian, God encourages us to talk nice to ourselves, talk nice to others, be nice to our neighbors, be nice to people who are being rude to you. Because God knows that functioning in love encourages you and motivates you. If you're mean to people all the time and you're pushing boundaries all the time with people, how do you think you're going to treat yourself? Keep that in mind. And to keep this one short, last but not least, for self-improvement, it's probably going to have to be paying attention who your enemies are. You're going to have a feeling deep down inside you that this person is an enemy. Pay attention to their actions and how they're talking. A good example of this is, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but this person, I walked up to them and I said, hey, I'm done with this. Here you go. And they come up to me and they said, hey, you did this as this. And I said, no, that's wrong. I did it as this. And then they double checked my work and they were like, oh, well, you didn't do this. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. And then they were like, well, I've told you again and again about this, and this. They were just being very shameful. You're going to realize there's going to be enemies like this in your life when it comes to your weaknesses. Pay attention to those. Pay attention to the people who are bringing you down, disencouraging you, and putting you in a box. Putting you in a box meaning like thinking that you're this person and that's it. Beware of these people and be free to befriend them and push them away, because you don't need those people. They're not going to help you grow. And if you're stuck in an environment where you can't push these people away, it's a manager, coworkers, then choose to ignore it. But the next question is, how do I ignore it? Don't believe in it. If they tell you things about you that aren't true, don't believe in it. Don't believe in the shame. Don't believe in the lies. Don't believe in the guilt. Some people might see this as being a person that doesn't admit to guilt, but if you're really centered in yourself and you know that you're not this type of person based on evidence from back then and now that proves that point, then I don't think it's going to be a egotistical thing or a self-destructive thing. I think these people who are in your life talking this way, you should push them away. But if it's at work, then choose to ignore them and use your words wisely. Number 2 for school. We're afraid of being alone, the fear of loneliness. When I was in freshman year in high school, I was drawing all the time. I wasn't fearful of being alone. This raised to me when I was in senior year in high school because I knew I had to talk to somebody to start developing my confidence. But I was doing it the completely wrong way. I was doing it to link with people. So for example, if my brother knew somebody, I would talk to my brother's friend, but I would gain a connection with them, but they weren't my friend. They were my brother's friend. You have to develop this confident habit by talking to strangers, believe it or not. There's no strings attached when you talk to strangers, but you can't be alone. Because if you want to build confidence, you need to talk to somebody. And when it comes to strangers, there's no strings attached. So you can take whatever risk you have to, have whatever conversations you need to, and be well in that. The key to speaking confidently is developing habits of speaking about stuff you want to speak about. If I love cars, I'll speak about cars. If I love drawing, I'll talk about drawing. Anime, talk about anime. People will open up on their ideas about those things, even if it seems kind of repulsive, but at least you had that conversation. Don't be afraid of being alone either. When it comes to having friends, having online friends especially, you can't be afraid of being alone. I know due to COVID-19 a couple of years ago, we were all used to being alone and stuff like that. And people found themselves, or people lost themselves. Over time, when COVID happened, I ended up finding myself, my true passions and things that I love to do. And you can do the same thing too, but when you're constantly surrounded with a lot of people, faking your life around to have people to like you, it's just a bunch of garbage, bro. You need to be by yourself to find yourself and pay attention to the passions that you love to do and remain focused on those things. And that's why I agree with being lonely is the best thing you can absolutely do in your life, at least for a season. Last but not least, I'll end it with this. Don't compare yourself. Comparing yourself ruins friendships. Comparing yourself ruins your self-image about yourself. And comparing yourself ruins faith. It ruins faith because you start thinking that somebody's chapter 9 is your chapter 1. But that's not true. You have to realize that there's only one you. And there's only one them too. But when you end the comparison and you start seeing yourself as a one of one, you start thinking to yourself, nobody's going to do it like me, so I'm going to play this 10 times harder than he is. It almost becomes like a competitive nature of you against yourself. And that's fine, Because at the end of the day, it's not about the race of beating that person, but a race of becoming a better you. You stop comparing yourself when you're focusing on stuff that you actually want to do. You stop comparing yourself when you actually feel good about yourself. You feel motivated. You feel encouraged. You're gaining that confidence because you're doing this routine again and again and again, and you're seeing the results. A good example of this is when I uploaded a video about having this much subscribers and this much videos up, and these are the reasons why I don't give up. It got like 900 views in like 3 days. I was so happy of that. I was excited. I got a little bit egotistical, but I wasn't blabbering about it. I was keeping it to myself. I was remaining humble because I felt good about it. I wasn't out there trying to compare this video to another YouTube video that had 50,000 views and 100,000 likes. No, because I know that I'm not there yet. And when you do get there, continue to remain humble, use those opportunities to expand, and stay patient. And to close this video out, I'm going to give you guys a couple tips and we'll cut it quits. Remove and replace negative habits. How you do this? If you have a problem with lust, watching the websites, step outside of the area that you feel most vulnerable in. Go out for a walk. Play a video game if you don't like video games. Just give it a shot. Buy a board game. Do something besides that thing that's triggering you and setting you behind. Walk away from fake people. You don't need fake people in this life. You want people who are going to tell you it for how it is and be bold. In this lifetime, you have to realize that the risks that you take have to be somewhat risky, You have to make sure that the chances that you take in your life are gradually. But you can't do that if you're dealing with fake people around you. Nothing's worse than having fake friends. I'd much rather have you be alone with God and have that relationship versus being around fake people and pushing God to the side. They can really set you back for years, and they've done that to me too. Because you're wasting time bragging. You're wasting time on saying that I'm the biggest one in the room. And you knock yourself out of your path easily. Your path is different. And if you're reading the 48 Laws of Power, then your path is different. And that's why I'm motivated to tell you guys about these laws and how to use them effectively in your life. But you can't use these effectively and take a chance at your life by having fake people around you, fake relationships, fake friends, friendships that use you for money, use you for your status in life, use you for popularity and how famous you are. You can't do that when you have fake people. And it only gets tougher as soon as people start to get to know you more, when you start becoming very well known and stuff like that. So pay attention to the friends around you and really value the ones that keep in touch with you and really want to check in to see how you're doing. Keep those close, for those friends are like gold. I will leave you with the Bible verse, iron sharpens iron. I hiccuped up there. But it's a really, really good one. You need friends that motivate you and encourage you. That's what that verse means. Because if you don't, you become dull. And the other knife ends up being more sharper than you are. You don't want to be in that friendship. You want to be in a friendship that's sharp, just like you are, and you guys are sharpening each other. That's going to be it for today's video. And that was law number 15 from the 48 Laws of Power. Crush your enemy entirely. Let me know what you guys think about this law. Drop a comment below. Subscribe to the channel because we got plenty of more given out today. And next time, I'll see you guys for law number 16. God loves you, and I love you too. Peace out.